Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Week 3, Day 2 of the Heroes Premier League, where nothing ever goes wrong, technically.
No.
Never.
No, absolutely not.
We did just see Nexus Champ up against Glorious. Nexus Champs came out swinging with a 2-kill lead, but unfortunately a reverse ambush put them behind, and they never really recovered.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They went with a very heavy, or I'm sorry, their opponents in Glorious Gaming went with a very heavy damage comp, and despite the fact that this really cool roving pack of Stitches, Uther, and Nova was kind of running around and picking off kills during the early game, they were never really able to gain a foothold after that. They lost one big fight and never recovered. In fact, they never even picked up another kill after that. So, yeah, got rough.
Yeah, some people have been asking about the low quality of the cast itself, like in terms of the visual. And again, alpha is alpha, guys, right? But I have actually found out that the shaders in your visual options is basically the thing that describes if you're becoming a nightlight versus a torch. And the torch is really hard on the eyes. So yes. Yeah, it's actually bound as well in terms of their settings. So if you go to medium, you're going to get really bright, but you can go all the way to ultra. But if you go to low, you can't go past low. C'est la vie. I'd rather have everyone with great, perfect eyesight for all your gaming than have a pretty flower on the ground. So that is my decision. Funny. You can send all the love and hate to me.
We are the competitive players, right? We care about what happens in the game. It doesn't have to look the prettiest to us. So.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I mean, Huck. He plays on low.
There you go.
It's not pretty, but it gets the job done, guys. All right, game number 3 coming up. Team Prism up against Vega Squadron, rank 7 versus 8. 0-2
yes.
each. Both of them are looking for their win, so somebody's going to go home happy with the win because there has to be a victor.
Yeah, and last week, both these guys played totally normal team comps. Nothing to write home about at all. Vega was running Raynor, Arthas, Kerrigan, Rhaegar, and Tyrande, and Prism was running Arthas, Kerrigan, Tassadar, Rhaegar, and Raynor. They were almost identical in their comps as well. Now, the difference, though, is how they actually played the game. So Empire was the opponent for Vega last week, and they ended up going with a cool Sergeant Hammer objective pushing comp. Yeah, it was awesome, right? And Vega was just never able to get over that. Like they did decently well in early game team fighting, but at the end of the game, especially when you're playing against a hard pushing Sergeant Hammer, what's the name of the game? Kill Sergeant Hammer first, right? And they could never do it. They could just never land the abilities to get on top of Sergeant Hammer. And so they ended up losing, but they made it competitive. Prism, on the other hand, did not have a very good game last week. They lost super hard the entire time. So I'm looking for them to come out strong, have a bit better start, and be a bit more assertive on the map with their objectives.
All right. Well, we're going to have to see what the draft entails because that might actually define how we're going to be playing this. Are you ready, sir?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Poor Anubarak. Nobody likes him today.
I know. So much fun. God, I can't wait for you guys to play Anubarak. Oh, man. Anubarak is...
NDA coming in strong.
I know. I can't say anything more other than hype it up and say Anubarak is awesome. Anyway, the bands. What do we have here? Okay, so on the top side there for Prism, we have Uther banned. That's no surprise. Uther is an incredibly strong pick at all times. Very versatile player. Chen is banned out from Vega. Chen, of all people.
Yep. No, so the Chen, I'm trying to remember, did Prism play Chen last time? You can really make some big plays because he can soak the damage. He can target, you're going to have to target your stuns on him if you want to kill him, which means he's going to be a great stun soak. It's great damage soak. And then at the same time, pandas at the end of it. Or even better, shields. Yes. Everything about him is not about the damage. It's about the control. So maybe there's something here that Vegas said, all right, Prism has too much control of this guy. He's out.
It's weird, though, because, Chen is incredibly strong, right? His regeneration you were talking about makes him a monster. He can absorb so much damage. But he is really easily countered because he does have to sit there and drink, and you can stun him out of it. So, he is a very, very hardy pick. He's a very versatile pick. But he can get countered out pretty easily. So I guess I'm just surprised to see him explicitly banned. I don't know. But again, like you're suggesting, maybe they know something that we don't, or they played against him in the past, and they just don't want to see him again.
I believe I saw some Twitter hype from Zoya from Town Halls giving LZ Gamers some really big kudos with the Chen. So maybe there's a recent development that I just happened to miss because of full-time jobs and all that fun stuff. Either way, Tychus and Tyrael are going to be out on the board. Next pickups here from Prism is going to be a very tanky front line with an Arthas Stitches.
Arthas and Stitches. Now, the nice part about this is that, you can substitute tanky Stitches for a little bit of damage Stitches pretty effectively. So Stitches in this comp, at least with the way I'm reading this, Arthas is going to be your main tank. He's going to get in there with his army of the dead, infinite sustain, big AoE, do all the stuff that Arthas normally does, right? And Stitches is going to be there for initiations and even a bit more damage, I think, in this comp than we're expecting.
Well, again, we saw the power of the Stitches in the last roam there. You know, Nexus Champ, they came out strong with that hook. The hook into the stun, into the snipe was basically how they got their only 2 kills, maybe?
Yes, that is correct.
It's unfortunate, a 9-minute game, though. But so clearly, you know, the damage can be done with that control of Stitches. And we do got the Chen out banned and the Uther was banned. So you got to have some kind of way to do this. Otherwise, you're just an unstoppable force hitting an unmovable object with the other guys. Like, there's nothing really else to spice it up. Speaking of the spice, though, Brightwing and Falstad, that's a mobile comp.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So that's exactly what I saw as soon as we saw this. Like, all right, well, they just want to jump around the map. And depending on the map, this can be less effective than others, you know? So like I'm worried that this mobile comp it's very cool, but like I don't know where their sustained damage is going to come from or how they're going to be able to counter out Stitches. Oh, and there we go. Malfurion and Tassadar being added to this. This comp has a ton of damage and pretty good CC as well. Yeah.
No, you got the freeze, you got the roots. You maybe even could go with the silence. I've been seeing that a bit more on the curse streams out of the Malfurion, but the Stitches, of course, for the hook as well. The last 2 picks are going to be very integral here for Vega. We got the tank, we got the heals, we do got the Falstead there. We're still looking for possibly a Vala, but we also looking for that second front liner here from Vega.
Yeah, they're going to need someone, like, they need someone to do stuns at the moment. Like, they've got Brightwing's Polymorph just for a little bit of crowd control, but, like, okay, and there it is. It's Diablo, and that makes a lot of sense. So Diablo it hits the frontliner you were looking for. It fills in all of their needs as far as CC goes. I admit I'm a little bit surprised about the Raynor pick. It's not a bad pick. Raynor has a ton of sustain, but we still have heroes out there like Vala on the table that haven't been picked. So...
Well, Vala, I mean, she ranks some really great single target, but the strafe is really about the synergy of her team. If you can't protect the strafe, then it's basically not going. You're going to have to go Vengeance, and Vengeance is hit or miss. At the same time, though, a right-click Raynor with all the buffs, like the Berserk and the Blood for Blood and all that, like you can't discount a right-click Raynor. He will blow one person up. And I'm saying one. Like, it's not AoE whatsoever. The Hyperion is just not worth a damn anymore. But I have been literally 3-shot by late game Raynors before as Tassadar. Like, you just don't even get a chance to zone out of that. So
yeah, I mean, of course he has a built-in escape as well with the health gain. So I mean, he is a great assassin. Do not get me wrong. And you're right, though. I mean, it looks like they're very much going for a let's jump on top and try and grab someone here. Their CC is going to be really inconsistent, though. Diablo has to be on his game for disruptions. Otherwise, this could be a problem.
All right, so we're going to jump into it. Stream is green, so let's get this rolling, Mr. Kavanaki. Week 3, day 2.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here in 3, 2, 1, go.
So according to the overlay, this will be Team Prism here on the left. That's going to be Sarconic there with the Stitches. We got Splendor on the Tassadar, Tangra with the Raynor, or Tychus, sorry. Zlos? Yeah, let's go with Zlos.
Sure.
The Arthas and Thunder, bringing the Thunder on Malfurion.
Absolutely. And on the right-hand side here for Vega Squadron, we have Dizzy on Tyrael. We have Evil Bastro. Stylus Bess. Yes. Green? That's Green. The name is Green. Okay. And Slimer.
Yeah, Slimer on the Falstad. I'm a big fan of Falstad. I'm going to be paying a little bit more closer attention to see how he deals with a Malfurion. I was kind of thinking, what kind of roam comp are we going to see here on Dragonshire? Because it's a very important map. There's an objective in every single lane, but it's all about the side lanes to get the dragon ready to go. Some teams will go for both shrines, look for the dragon in order to get those early pushes. Others will play keep away with one, get the mercs, and push forward. So I'm curious to see what style we're going to see from these teams.
Yeah, and there are set up here with the Stitches, Tychus, and Arthas up here. If Stitches were able to land a grab, they could jump right back in and stun out Tyrael and try and do some damage. Of course, he can still escape with his Q, but that's because he's Tyrael. So they're actually going to engage down here at the bot and just trade some damage back and forth. We were talking about Green before, and he is actually in chat as well. So hello, Vega Green 873 in chat. I see you there. Good luck in this game.
Can't escape the eyes of the Kevin Naki. We had a little bit of a trade there in the mid as well. Tychus came in with the grenade, but it was just so out of place that fortunately he was not able to create that pick. Now, Stitches is not roaming. They're using him as a sustained top.
Yes, they are. And, you know, this isn't a bad matchup, to be honest. I mean, Tyrael looks like he's bullying him out a little bit, but I think Stitches, with his sustain, could get back in here and trade some damage at him. Surprised he's being that passive.
Well, I mean, the Devour does have a fairly long cooldown. The shields, however, coming out from Tyrael is really great fodder for trading out because you're going to be hitting the shields, whereas Tyrael is going to be that one actually hitting the hit points. But of course, you know, we do got the Devour. We got, you know, a very tanky, sustaining move in terms of Stitches because he does have a lot of sustain with him, just simply because of the regen effects.
Yep, absolutely. And it looks like they're just trading back and forth there. I mean, this is... What is the Stitches and Tyrael really going to do against each other at the beginning of the game? They're just going to kind of hit each other a bunch and nothing's going to happen.
Benny Hill music, that's all it's going to be. Now, bottom lane, it was actually Prism that came down. They were able to force out that shrine. So it's 1-1 right now. We got Dizzy, again, just kind of running around the pillar. We got the Brightwing now up as well to lend a little bit of support. That's going to be it for Stitches, but not going to be an early Dragonite. Nobody going for Mercs quite yet either, but we are level 4 here for Prism, so they got that extra talent. And there we go, 4 now as well for Vega.
You know, I was actually watching that fight between Sarconic and Dizzy up in the top lane, and Stitches was winning that hard.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, they forced the rotation out of Brightwing there, and that opens up a lot of the map for Prism, and Prism decides to react by taking out the Knights. So there you go. They force Brightwing to the top lane. That opens up bot lane for them. They grab a Shrine, and they grab Siege Giants. That's good.
Oh, Dizzy's actually going to be one get hooked out here. He still had the sword up, so he's able to teleport to it out of the danger zone, so to speak. But bottom Shrine going to go the way of Prism, and as he said, you know, they open up these bottom creeps, not quite the Knights. Dizzy's actually fighting Draconic up top, though.
Yeah, Sarconic, look at this positioning. This is awesome. And Dizzy's Q finally comes off a cooldown. Oh, Sarconic misses with the hook, but still, a good effort there. So Siege Giants pushing in the bot lane. Looks like Vega Squadron's going to grab their own Siege Giants in response, but of course, this opens up both of the shrines for blue team right now. They have control, and Prism, if they can open up this mid lane, could potentially grab a Dragon Knight.
Nah, I got a feel for Slimer. I've been in this position. Malfurion bullying out a lane. You got those Siege Giants there. You just don't have the range or the utility in order to do anything about it. His bottom lane is not going to be looking so good. Dizzy getting saved out by the Styler Best up here in the top. He's going to be low hit points, but they are going to get that shrine, and they will keep it away from Prism for now. But either way, bottom lane is not looking good for Vega as we have 4 Giants tearing into it.
No kills, but Prism is doing a great job of pushing objectives right now and forcing their opponents to rotate. What they're doing the best job of right now is kind of setting the pace of the game. Everything that they do, Vega Squadron has had to react to. Vega Squadron hasn't been able to just get out there on their own. With 2 sets of Siege Giants pushing, this is a huge amount of damage, and now Vega Squadron needs to come down and react to down here at the bottom lane. They do so. Brightwing is actually dueling with Stitches up here at the top to try and protect the shrine.
Oh, Sarconic, what are you doing, man? You left the shrine. You didn't get it. That could have been an easy Dragon Knight because bottom lane is going to be the way of Prism. Top could have been it as well, but now Styler Best and him is just going to go round and round a little bit, but Stitches are going to be winning that out. Doesn't matter anymore. Bottom lane was taken by the Vega, so we're still going to be leaving that Dragon Knight in his prison, but still, damage was done in this bottom lane, Kevin. Look at that. The fort almost at 3/4 as well.
Absolutely. So continuing to push objectives right now. And even though there have been a couple of small mistakes, like you mentioned before, Sarconic stepping off of the shrine that allowed Brightwing to come back in and recontest that, overall, Prism has been doing a better job of forcing lanes and forcing opportunities right now. I really think this is going to come down to a big team fight. We may have that in the bot lane, though, as a lot of damage is being done to Dizzy. He backs out of there. Diablo charges in, but he does get stunned by Malfurion. The shrine goes back to Team Prism, and everyone just kind of beat their head against the wall, but no one died.
God, that was really well played out by Dizzy. He threw out the sword, noticed that there's people camping it. They did camp it there from Prism. They're like, if you're going to teleport to this, we're going to kill you. And then he actually used the teleport to dodge out the skill shot. I mean, too much to handle. He is still going to go down to this 4-man aggression there from the Prism, but they're still going to go into it because there's no gate here whatsoever. Prism is just going to be pressing their advantage. They are level 9. They're looking for that 10. They also have both shrines, so the ball is in their court, so to speak.
That's absolutely right. And Stitches is here to try and make sure that Prism can get a Dragon Knight. Tassadar is going to grab it. He can't get it quite in time. Arthas now going to try and come and bully out the rest of Vega Squadron. Diablo jumps right back in for a bit more destruction. He's taking a huge amount of damage. Dizzy comes back with his Tyrael, getting right on top of Arthas for now. And they are holding this Dragon Knight for the time being, while Falstad, Slimer actually takes the Shrine up top. Great hold from Vega Squadron.
Yeah, and as I said, Falstad taking the Shrine up top. They needed to buy enough time, so they made it look like they were going to fight. I mean, it is level 10 versus 9. An actual fight, I don't think it's going to go away with Vega.
Oh, and Gorge being used on green, and Raynar gets popped immediately inside of the base of Prism. So unfortunate for Vega Squadron, just as they had turned things around, they're losing basically all of their sustained damage.
Yeah, and that wasn't even, like, that was just the Gorge. They got 1 kill for 1 ult. So it's like, you still can't even fight this. Dizzy, again, he's going to be down here. He's quite the trooper, but look at that. Zloss gets right in front of him. The body blocks are real. The slowing potential is real, and that's just going to be another dead angel on the floor. Tyrael goes down.
And if they can stop this Dragon Knight, oh, they can't. Splendor has the Dragon Knight, so that goes for Team Prism. Had Vega Squadron been able to stop that, they actually did a really nice job of opening up Knights, and they could have pressured the top lane a little bit with them. But as it stands now, they have to be purely reactionary and holding back against the Dragon Knight, who is losing health very quickly, but still proving to be annoying, while all the rest of his team pushes other lanes.
Yeah, Splendor's going to be pushing up here. We got a little bit of a scuffle there into the mid. You do got Brightwing going to be heading up top. Splendor's down to half. He got a tower. Didn't exactly get the gate out of it. Now he's just kind of wandering around the jungle. It's like, which way to go? Might be going for the tower here as well, but Dizzy and Green are there. And like, there's really no place Splendor can really go unless he has a team to back him up. And the team is just splitting. Like, they're splitting for this bottom. So they're going to get 1 fort and just going to kind of use the Dragon Knight as a sacrifice.
Right, and that's exactly what they ended up doing, and it's going to work out for him, but it was actually close to backfiring. Oh, and Diablo's going to make his way in right now. He stuns Arthas for the time being. Arthas is going to die, so a fort for a kill. Of course, that is better for Prism at the moment. However, Vega Squadron now has the map. They can get out there and try and pressure some objectives. They had already taken their Knights, and they are going to go after at least 1 set of Siege Giants. They should take 2, honestly.
All right, we're going to also have to do a little bit of a reset. What's your current timer here?
43, 4,
hit
5.
pause.
Sure.
You at 45?
Yes.
All right, I am also at 45. Shall we resync, sir?
All right, sounds good. Let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, no more premonitions from the future. I know you're a great caster, Kevin, but you're not that good. Sarconic, however, is not feeling so great either. Wow, he turns around with that last-minute devour, but the lightning is going to be taking him down. Bottom lane, however, Evo, Bastro, and Green, they're going to be looking for these Giants. They do get it. Some nice push-offs there from Bastro. I'm not sure Tychus can actually bring the damage here, but there's a Malfurion on the other side of that, so they're going to go for this double. They should be able to at least bring down Bastro, but that's going to be the Apocalypse. Doesn't hit anyone. A little bit more of a desperation move, but Sloss comes in and finishes him off.
Pretty good job by Diablo to protect Green, though, the entire time. And, of course, he had enough in his Soul Stone that he's able to revive basically immediately. So it sucks for Vega Squadron, but they're still on the map. So now Prism, they're pushing back the Siege Giants from here in the bot lane. Looks like they're positioning to take their Knights, but as we can see, Vega Squadron's there too, and they know that this could happen.
Yeah, Sarconic was like, oh, look, I've got Tyrael. Unfortunately, that hook not going to be landing. Now, hooking a Tyrael as well typically doesn't really get you much because you're just going to use the sword to get out of danger, especially in this situation where you have those trees to kind of get you out of dodge. But at the same time, they do secure out their Knights, and that is going to be a little bit of pressure there into the top lane. Do we have the shrines? Not quite yet, but I feel like they should be activating any moment now.
Yeah, I think we're going to get that 30-second countdown here soon. So we'll wait for that in a moment, though. But Vega Squadron has kept this to a 1-level disadvantage. I believe that Prism's about to hit 15 before Vega Squadron hits 14, though. We'll see if there's a moment for them to try and collapse and do some damage.
That was a really nice move out of Slimer, though. He was mid-barrel roll when the hook actually hit, so canceled out all the momentum. Did keep himself alive, because if Falstad does get hit by that hook into the gorge, it's basically a death sentence.
Yes, absolutely. As we saw what happened to Raynar before, it was a death sentence. So, all right, so Vega Squadron has to hold against this. Sarconic, is getting a bit in the way. He actually gorges directly on top of Dizzy, who uses his judgment. Falstad follows up with some damage behind. It's Sindragosa that's actually taken for Arthas there, not Army of the Dead. So he applies the slow to basically everyone on Vega. Slimer gets out of there somehow, but he dies to the damage over time there that ends up hitting him, and Prism wins a pretty big engagement, 2-1. They may be able to pick up Raynor. There he goes, and Diablo falls at the same time. Brightwing is trying to run away, but she doesn't have anyone to jump to, so she may die here too. Oh, great hook, and Sarconic is going to land that kill.
Man, I don't know how you still keep getting ahead of me, but it's much more manageable this time. Either way, great work there from Prism. 5-for-1 exchange. Yeah, the Arthas with that Sindragosa, maybe not the biggest of the game changers, but at the same time, they get themselves a fort. They're level 16. They're almost to that last tier of talents. No, they are at the last tier of talents. And yeah, there's the talents for you guys as we see all the respawn. They're going to go straight for these shrines. That's going to be a dragon pushed down the throat of Vega.
That's absolutely right. So now Vega needs to pick someone off. They need to be able to get a kill so that way they can secure shrines, but it doesn't even matter now. There's a Dragonite pushing across the middle of the map. Sarconic's got it. And of course, the worst part about whenever your tank or one of your big tanks picks up the Dragonite is that as soon as the Dragonite dies, you have a full health tank that's still sitting there and waiting to engage.
Yeah, we saw that actually in our Garden of Terror map today. Every Garden Terror was Poom, which was Diablo. Every single time. Now, they did change it up on the other side. They had Falstad take it once, but you get in a bad position and Falstad pops, you're at a big disadvantage because you've lost the Garden Terror and that DPS. So, yeah, putting a tank into it, really good idea. Do us even better, put a Merc into it.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and here comes Judgment from Tyrael. Apocalypse and Brightwing following up right after that. Decent damage is applied to most of the members of Team Prism, but they're all at about half health. No target was actually countered out completely. So now Prism is completely alive. Sindragosa actually disables this entire town here for Vega Squadron. That's going to allow Prism to move up and completely kill this gate. Really, really well coordinated there.
And again, no deaths going the way of Team Prism. Like, they get out the kill, they get out the fort, they had the engages. I mean, Dizzy with that judgment started it all off, but didn't really have the big funnel that he was looking for. There goes the Dragonite.
What? Dragonite into a hook, into a gorge immediately, and Tyrael dies as a result.
Well played. All right, no gate here in the middle. Vega very much on the back foot, 15-17. They are still down that one talent advantage. Well, disadvantage in the case, because 15. They need 16 in order to have a level playing field. And even then, 2.5 levels from now, it's going to be Storm talents coming out from Prism. We need to get some kind of picks going here from Vega because 5-on-5 is just not going to be cutting it for them.
No, absolutely not. So they're going to react to the Knights in the top lane, but they're going to give up Siege Giants in bot lane again. I'm just checking timers of all the various different camps. Looks like Knights will come up for Team Prism here in 45 seconds. Their Siege Giants just came up, so they're going to grab 2 camps worth of those. So all objective control is in favor of Prism at the moment. There's not a lot that Squadron can do, although I still have to really overextend themselves on the map.
And even then, like, let's say we get that pick. It has to be either the Tigers or the Malfurion because you're not going to be able to burst down a Tassadar or a Stitches or an Arthas. And those guys, they know they got to be staying in the back. Like Malfurion, he's going to be hiding right behind one of these big guys. And Tychus, he has Nodin anyway, so he has even a little bit of self-protection right there.
Yep, you're absolutely right. So, I'm just trying to see where they're about to engage. Sarconic looks like he's ready to engage, and he grabs a hook. No, misses, unfortunately. The clairvoyance coming out from Tassadar there actually revealed Tyrael up at the top, too.
I really expected that hook there. I was like, oh, there he is. Bam, done. But no.
Nope, unfortunately not. All right, well, here comes the engage once again. Oh, perfect time. The invincibility came out of Tassadar just as the ult from Falstad was making its way in. He turns right back around, goes into Archon mode, and starts destroying everyone from Vega Squadron. Huge heads-up play from Splendor there on Tassadar, and a dominating fight victory for Prism as they win a flawless 5-0, and this could very well be the game.
Very, very strong game right now here from Prism. As you said, this could literally be at 4 Giants and a full team. Yeah, we're calling it. That's game. Like, this Dragon statue is not going to be lasting at all. The Palos will drop 16 kills to 3, Kevin. Fairly one-sided. Prism with the comp of heroes here. They dropped 3 kills that entire game, but they came out with a 3-level advantage, and they're going to be dancing their way to victory here.
No kidding. Wow, that was crazy. That was dominating. So very well done by Prism. Honestly, going into that match, Vega Squadron had a very close game next week. They look very competitive. Prism actually kind of fell apart last week, so I was expecting, you know, a close game between these two, but Prism, wow, incredibly strong throughout the entire game.
You could also make the argument here that, you know, because they're in such a competitive league, like, you know, these guys are in various different leagues spread out between US, South America, I believe, has one coming up, and then Europe. So a lot of practice has been going down, a lot of drafts in Prism. Like 0-2-0 does not tell you anything really about the team, but they came out super strong in that game. You know, 2 weeks of practice could really turn a team around.
I agree. And the game's early enough and the player pool is small enough that we are going to see massive, not just team changes, but large-scale meta changes coming just with more players getting added in as time goes along. So I'm looking forward to the future of Heroes, though. The teams are already very competitive. The games have already been very fun. And to be honest, the meta shifts from week to week, so it's an exciting time to be involved.
Indeed it is. So I can tell you the near future is going to be Clairvoyant up against 2Art Gaming. It's our last game of the day here, week 3, day 2. With Forco Jester and Kevin Naki. When we return, it will be the last one. And of course, you know, we can't go out without letting you guys know that not only will we resume in a moment, but we do still have the Ultimate Dead giveaway at the end of the next game. I'm going to get a name from one of you guys that went and followed and liked and subscribed to these various social medias, and we're going to give you a $20 Bound.net gift card. I see you smiling there, Kevin. They can't, but I see you smiling.
Oh, they can't see me. Darn it. Darn it. Oh, well.
Kevin's on board. We're on board. Nexus Champ does appreciate your guys' support because we got a lot of Heroes content left to do here in the league. With, you know, the return of the game, hopefully this week, means we can actually even see a broader spectrum of the meta, and Heroes Nexus Champ is going to be there 100%. So when we return, our last game of the day, and of course the giveaway. So don't go anywhere.